We are now on part 4 of chapters 37 to 50 of Genesis from the Messianic Jewish Family Bible, Tree of Life Version, TLV. And I'm glad that I stopped where I did because I'm actually over 16 minutes. So there's quite a few of these parts that I've been getting actually over the amount. So hopefully it will all upload when it into the YouTube. So I'm hoping that it'll work. So we're going to move on to chapter 44. Joseph tests his brothers. Then he commanded the one over his household, saying, "Fill the men's sacks with as much food as they are able to carry, and put money in the opening of each man's sack. Put my cup, the silver cup, in the opening of the sack of the youngest, along with his grain money." So he did as Joseph told him. When the morning dawned, the men were sent off, they and their donkeys. They left the city and did not get far when Joseph said to the one over his household, "Get up, go after the men. When you catch up to them, say to them, 'Why have you repaid evil for good? Isn't this the one from which my Lord drinks? He even uses it, especially to discern by divination what you've done is evil.'" So he caught up to them and spoke these words to them. Then they said to him, "Why does my Lord say such things? Far be it from your servants to do such a thing as this. Look, the money we found in the opening of our bags we brought back to you from the land of Canaan. So how could we steal silver or gold from your Lord's house? Whoever among your servants is found with it, let him die, and we will also be my Lord's slaves. Even now, let it be according to your words." He said, "The one with whom it is found shall be my slave, but the rest of you shall be innocent." Then each man quickly lowered his sack to the ground, and each man opened his sack. He searched them, beginning with the eldest and finishing with the youngest, and the cup was found in Benjamin's sack. Then they tore their clothing. They rent their clothing, as the King James Version would say. And each one loaded up their donkey, and they returned to the city. When Judah and his brothers entered Joseph's house, he was still there. They fell to the ground before him. "What's this deed you've done?" Joseph said to them. "Don't you know that a man like me can discern by divination?" Then Judah said, "What can we say to my Lord? What can we speak? How can we justify ourselves? God has exposed your servants guilty. We are now my Lord's slaves, both we as well as the one in whose hand the cup was found." But he said, "Far be it from me to do this. The one in whose hand the cup was found, he will be my slave. But you, go up to your father in peace." So now we're going to move into Parashat Vayagash. Judah pleads for Benjamin. Then Judah approached him and said, "I beg your pardon, my lord. Please let your servant say a word in my lord's ears, and don't be angry with your servant, since you are like Pharaoh. My lord asks his servants, saying, 'Do you have a father or a brother?' So we said to my lord, 'We have a father who is old. A child born to him of, of his old age is young. Now his brother is dead, so he is the only one of his mother's children left, and his father loves him. Then you said to your servants, Bring him down to me so that I can look at him.' But we said to my lord, 'The boy cannot leave his father. If he were to leave his father, he would die.' Then you said to your servants, 'Unless your brother comes down with you, you won't see my face again.' Now, when he went up to your servant, my father, we told him my Lord's words. Then our father said, 'Go back, buy us a little grain for food.' So we said, 'We won't go down unless we have our youngest brother with us. Then we'll go down, for we won't see the man's face unless our youngest brother is with us.' Then your servant, my father, said to us, 'You yourselves know that my wife bore me two sons. One went out from me, so I said he must have been torn to shreds, and I haven't seen him since. And if you also take this one away from me before me, and an accident happens to him, then you'll bring my gray hair down to the evil of Sheol. Now, if I come to your servant my father, and the boy isn't with us, since his life is bound to his life, when he sees that the boy is no more, he'll die. Then your servants will bring the gray hair of your servant, our father, down to Sheol in grief. For your servant became pledge for the boy with my father, saying, 'If I don't bring him back to you, I will bear the blame before my father all my days.' So now please let your servant remain as my lord's slave in the boy's place, and let the boy go up with his brothers. For how can I go up to my father, and the boy is not with me? Else I must see the evil that would come upon my father. So Judah is pleading for Benjamin at this point. In chapter 45, Joseph reveals himself. Now Joseph could no longer restrain himself in front of all those who were standing by him. So he cried out, "Get everyone away from me." So no one stood with him when Joseph made himself known to his brothers. But he gave his voice to weeping so that the Egyptians heard and Pharaoh's household heard. Joseph said to his brothers, "I am Joseph. Is my father still alive?" And his brothers were unable to answer him because they were terrified at his presence. Then Joseph said to his brothers, "Please come near me." So they came near. "I'm Joseph, your brother, the one you sold to Egypt," he said. "So now don't be grieved and don't be angry in your own eyes that you sold me here, since it was for preserving life that God sent me here before you. For these for there have been 2 years of famine in the land, and there will be 5 more yet, with no plowing or harvesting. But God sent me ahead of you to ensure a remnant in the land and to keep you alive for a great escape. So now it wasn't you didn't send me here, but God. And he made me as a father to Pharaoh, lord over his whole house and ruler over the entire land of Egypt. Go up quickly to my father and say to him, 'Thus says your son Joseph, God has made me Lord over all Egypt. Come down to me, don't delay. Then you'll live in the land of Goshen and be close to me, you and your children's children, your flocks and your cattle, and everything that belongs to you. I'll provide food for you there, for the famine will last another 5 years. Otherwise, you'll lose everything, you and your household, and everything that belongs to you. And look, you and my brother Benjamin can see with your own eyes that it is my mouth that is speaking to you. You must tell my father about my honor in Egypt and about all that you've seen, and you must quickly bring my father down here." Then he fell upon his brother Benjamin's neck and wept, while Benjamin wept upon his neck. And he kissed all his brothers and wept upon them. Finally, after this, his brothers talked with him. When the commotion was heard in the Pharaoh's house, Joseph's brothers have come. It was good in the eyes of Pharaoh and his servants. So Pharaoh said to Joseph, "Say to your brothers, do this. Load your Load your animals and go to the land of Canaan. Then get your father, your household, and come to me. I'll give you the best of the land of Egypt, and you will eat of the fat of the land." You are also commanded to say, "Do this. Take for yourselves wagons from the land of Egypt for your little children, for your wives, and pick up your father and come. Don't be concerned about your goods, because the best of all of the land of Egypt is yours." So the sons of Israel did so. Joseph gave them carts by Pharaoh's command, and he gave them provisions for the journey. To each of them he gave a change of clothes, while to Benjamin he gave 300 pieces of silver and 5 sets of clothes. Also to his father he sent the following: 10 donkeys carrying from the best of Egypt, 10 female donkeys carrying grain and food and provisions for his father's journey. Then he sent his brothers off, and as they departed he said to them, "Don't be anxious on the way." Then they went up from Egypt and came to the land of Canaan to Jacob their father. They told him, saying, "Joseph is still alive, and he is ruler of over the whole land of Egypt." His heart went numb, for he did not believe them. But they told him all of Joseph's words that he had told them. When he saw the wagons that Joseph had sent to pick him up, the spirit of their father Jacob revived. Then Israel said, "Enough, my son Joseph is alive. I must go and see him before I die." So, chapter 47, Jacob goes to Egypt. So Israel set out along with everything that belonged to him. When he came to Beersheba, he offered sacrifices to the God of his father Isaac. In visions of the night, God said to Israel, "Jacob, Jacob." "Hineni," meaning, "Here am I," he said. "I am God, the God of your father," he said. "Do not be afraid to go down to Egypt, for I will turn you into a great nation there. I myself will go down with you to Egypt, and I myself will also most certainly bring you up. Joseph will put his hands on your eyes." Then Jacob arose from Beersheba, and Israel's sons carried Jacob their father, their little children, and their wives in the carts that Pharaoh had sent to him. They also took their livestock and their possessions they had acquired in the land of Canaan, and they came to Egypt, Jacob and all his offspring with him, his sons and his grandsons with him, his daughters and his granddaughters, and all of his offspring he brought with him to Egypt. Now, these are the names of the sons of Israel who came to Egypt, Jacob and his sons, Jacob's firstborn Reuben, and Reuben's son Hanok, Palu, Hezron, and Carmi. Simeon's sons, Jemiel, Jamin, Obed, Jachin, Zochar, and Shaul, the son of the Canaanite woman. Levi's sons, Gershon, Kohath, Merari. Judah's sons, Onan, Shelah, Perez, and Zerah. Died along with Onan in the land of Canaan. Perez's sons were Hezron and Hamul. Issachar's sons, Tola, Puva, Job, and Shimron. Zebulun's sons, Sered, Elon, and Jaleel. These are Leah's sons, whom she bore to Jacob in Paddan Aram, along with his daughter Dinah. The tally of all of his sons and daughters was 33 people. Gad's sons, Ziphion, Haggai, Shuni, Ezbon, Arodi, and Areli. Asher's sons, Imnah, Ishva, Ishvi, Beriah, and Sarah their sister. Beriah's sons Heber and Malchiel. They're the sons of Zilpah, whom Laban gave to Leah his daughter. She bore to Jacob 16 people. The sons of Jacob's wife Rachel, Joseph and Benjamin, Manasseh and Ephraim were born to Joseph in the land of Egypt. Asenath, the daughter of Potiphar, a priest of On, bore them to him. Benjamin's sons Bela, Bela, Becher, Ashbel, Gera, Naaman, Ehi, Rosh, Huppim, and Ard. These are Rachel's sons who were born to Jacob. The tally of all the people was 14. The sons of Dan, Husham, Naphtali's sons, Yaxiel, Guni, Yezer, Shillem. These are the sons of Bilhah, whom Laban gave to Rachel his daughter, and she bore these to Jacob. The tally of all the people was 7. All the people belonging to Jacob to come to Egypt, those coming from his loins, not counting the wives of Jacob's sons. The tally of all the people was 66. The sons of Joseph who were born to him in Egypt was a tally of 2 people. The tally of all the people belonging to Jacob's house who came to Egypt was 70. Now he sent Judah before him to Joseph to show him the way to Goshen. When they came to the land of Goshen, Joseph harnessed his chariot and went up to Goshen to meet his father Israel. As soon as he appeared before him, he fell upon his neck and wept on his neck for some time. Then Israel said to Joseph, "At this time I am ready to die after seeing your face in person, for you're still alive." Then Joseph said to his brothers and to his father's household, "I'll go up and tell Pharaoh and say to him, my brothers and my father's household, who were in the land of Canaan, have come to me. The men are shepherds, for they've been men who handle livestock, who have brought their flocks and cattle and everything that they possess. So when Pharaoh calls you, what is your occupation? You must say, your servants have been men who handle livestock since the time of our youth until now, both we and our fathers, so that you can live in the land of Goshen, because every shepherd is loathsome to the Egyptians." So we're about to move into chapter 47. I'm going to pause this um, for just a minute because I'm going to actually bring up the next part because we're actually at almost 15 minutes on the counter. So I'm going to pause this and come up with the next part, and we're going to go into chapter 47.